Good afternoon, all. Camelback Trading 2724 coming to you this Tuesday afternoon, December 3rd. Looking at the market profile of the SPY ETF. An incredible, bizarre day today. Really was. A lot to talk about. So, first off, we gap lower. Large gap, right? There's yesterday's low. Here's the top of today. So, now let's go back to today. Huge gap. Basically drives straight down an A period. Very large range. And then, that was it. Sellers just quit. Now, we took out a lot of reference points. Took out 3 daily lows, I think 2 or 3 weekly lows. So no doubt damage was done on some good volume. But I would certainly have expected some follow through in B period or somewhere else earlier in the day to take out the low. Instead, we had an attempt at a trend day up not once but twice. We have a price spike and a price probe on the upside and 10 wide. You would think the market was up after I just told you those things. So 2 days in a row. Now, yesterday too. Yesterday we had the B shape, but yet I said it was still a trend day down. Sellers were still in control. Well, same with today. Even though I'm telling you all this, sellers are still in control because we still have a fairly large gap. And the charts have changed now on the weekly and the daily, which we'll get to. But a very, very interesting day. Pretty tough day. I made 2 trades today. I had a good day, 2 trades. I did nothing in A or B. C period. When C took out B's high, I almost got long right there because at that point I figured we should go for the high. But the opening proved to be an incredible resistance areas. We couldn't get above the opening until H period. So it was very interesting how long it took to get over the opening. I didn't buy it there, luckily. It basically flushed out pretty quick. But I did buy it towards the bottom of C. And then when D opened and went even lower, I bought even more. And I had some really good size here. Why did I do that? Well, a couple of reasons. First off, the fact that B and C couldn't take out the day's low told me there wasn't much. The sellers didn't have a lot left in the tank. Now, I don't know what I would have done if C came down and took out the low. If D came down and took it out. If it came right back into balance, I might have held on to it. If we started going down where it looked like we could have single prints, then I probably would have gotten out of it. I didn't have to make that decision. Now look, I know there's a gap and I know there's lower value, but things have to be put into context. And there were a lot of little nuances today that the sellers weren't as strong as it looked like after the first time frame. The first one was you couldn't take out the A's low. The second one was the POC got raised not once but twice today. The third one was we almost had a chance for 2 trend days up. So I took that trade and it worked out nice. I was in a little pain, a little heat for a little while, but I had some good size. And then again, as it started going up, started taking them off and took them off at POC. It was a very nice trade. And then the only other trade I did, once now we were 6 for 6 wide, thought the odds of the POC getting revisited were very good, so I wanted to fade the extreme then if that happened. And that's what I did. Took a put position at the top of H, added onto it in I, started riding it down, and took the balance off right at POC. That's the only trades I did for the day. I was looking to see if J or K would be an afternoon pullback low, which K turned out to be. I was hoping K went lower, either the G's low or even the value low, to get long again, but it never did that. So I didn't want to get involved right near POC. So I did nothing and I just watched it. But that's okay. So good day, just 2 trades with some very interesting things that took place today. All right, destinations. So on the upside, your first destination will be today's high of 309.64 and then filling the gap at 311.17. So even though we got into it after A period a bunch of times, including L&M, it's still a 153-point gap. That's fairly large. That's a fairly large gap. Then, if we are to fill that, well, I shouldn't say that because inside that gap, we have that 9 wide from November 22nd. right? That was a downside destination, but remember, it does not get taken off the board. We didn't trade there. So 310.81 is 9 wide. So that's the destination inside that gap. Then above that, we have 311.82, which was 10 wide from yesterday. And then the single prints from yesterday, they start at 312.61 and get filled at 313.02. So I'm going to stop there on the upside. For the downside, we had the price probe and the price spike. So again, the price probe starts at L's high. That's 309.61. Now again, we've talked about this. Even though we closed below it at 309.55, we do not know if it's accepted or not because the day ended. So A period's going to have to open to see if the price probe is accepted or not. So 309.55, your first downside destination. Then it'll be the price spike, which is eyes high. Once L came up and took out eyes high, that's your price spike at 309.13. That'll be your next downside destination. Then our afternoon pullback low, I'm sorry. I have the 10 wide. And I forgot where they were. At 308.42. 308.42, 10 wide. That would be your next destination. Then K's low, it's right below it at 308.32, your afternoon pullback low. And then today's low of 307.13. Now, let's go to the charts. Nothing's changed in the monthly yet. We are still up in the monthly and we still have a gap. So the monthly is still healthy. Weekly, wiped out 3 weeks worth of upside, right? But you got 3 weekly lows. However, we close back into the one from 2 weeks ago. So, like I said, this is incredibly healthy what just transpired here. We went from one time framing up and getting stretched out for 8 weeks to wiping out 3 weeks worth of work. However, as of now, again, one day doesn't make a market. We came back into not only the 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, we came into the one from 3 weeks ago range. Balance in the weekly. And then daily, now the daily is down, right? We were up, right? Markets don't go bull bear. They go bull, balance, right? We balance for those after that for the day. And now we've gone bear. Okay? So we're down in the daily. But, again, it repaired a lot of poor structure that was here. So now we see, did we shake out the week longs where we could maybe trade sideways for a little bit before resuming our upward move, or does there still need to be some week longs taken out? Maybe there are. Remains to be seen. But that's what I'm looking at now. Volume decent today, 73.5 million with the after hours to go. Yesterday was around the same. Our average volume is 53 million, so definitely percentage-wise, our volume has been pretty good on these moves. And most of this volume, a lot of this volume came early in the day. So you might have had the longer time frame in here starting to take some profits. Remember, this market's up over 20% for the year. There's a tremendous amount of profits. So maybe some of the big guys decide to take some off. They certainly didn't take a lot off, because if they'd taken a lot off, you would certainly know it. There would be a lot more volume than what we did these last 2 days. But maybe they decided to just take some off. Now, the other thing, remember I was saying they're going to have to chase performance if things keep up. Well, now with this move, right, we've gone from 315, we went down to 307. Took $8 off the top. Well, now maybe they can start getting back in, because at least it's cheaper than it was 2 days ago. Remains to be seen. I hope you had a good day trading. Have a great evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.